What happens when a committee on government efficiency becomes a masterclass in political theater and intentional gridlock? It's a question that cuts to the very heart of modern politics, where the language of fiscal responsibility is often used as a weapon for ideological battles. We're about to break down a fiery speech that argues this is exactly what's happening and how it's being used not to save money, but to advance a specific, hidden agenda that impacts everything from your healthcare to the safety of your data. Let's look at the key exchange that reveals everything.
So much. You know what? It's interesting because we sit here in the Department of Government Efficiency Subcommittee, and the most inefficient thing that we have done since we have had the invention of this nonsense was the fact that we have decided that we will not do accountability or oversight over Doge because we have failed to bring in the person who actually runs Doge. In fact, we have decided, or actually y'all decided, that we wouldn't even debate why it is that we should or should not subpoena Elon Musk. In fact, y'all are just trying to get rid of the musky smell because it wasn't working out very well for you. And now you want to pretend as if you are coming in here to do exactly what your constituents want you to do. But the last time I checked, y'all didn't want to go talk to your constituents, because if there was one thing they were complaining about, it was Elon and it was Doge. You didn't want to hear those. And listen, if I had time, I would run the tape, but I only got 5 minutes because there's plenty of video footage of all of y'all getting your butts handed to you when you went home and people told you how they felt about Doge. So let's talk about it for a quick second. Americans are looking for help. But instead of offering it to them, the Republicans have unleashed the most aggressive attack on the working class families in American history. And they have been excited to do so. In fact, they are here today arguing to make all the chaos, confusion, and destruction caused by Doge permanent. They want hungry kids to be permanent. They want sicker Americans to be permanent. They want homeless veterans to be permanent. Shuttered hospitals to be permanent. Disrupted Social Security benefits to be permanent. They sold out their constituents to give permanent tax breaks to billionaires. And they're doing it, and now they want to have a victory lap, celebrating the pain of their constituents. So, Ms. DeVito, let's go through some of the things that the Republicans have done to see if they're helpful or harmful to Americans. Helpful or harmful? Stripping healthcare away from 16 million people.
I would say harmful.
Laying off hundreds of thousands of federal workers.
Harmful.
Disrupting or delaying federal services such as Social Security.
Harmful.
Medicaid.
Harmful.
SNAP benefits.
Harmful.
Cutting billions from agencies like NIH.
Harmful.
EPA.
Harmful.
HUD.
Harmful.
FDA.
Harmful.
All right, seems like you understand the assignment. There's an entire agenda that is attacking the working class Americans from start to finish. And then the thing is, they told us that they were going to do this, but, they pretended as if they knew nothing about the playbook that was laid out by good old Heritage Foundation. All of this talk about lowering costs and reducing waste is absolute BS. Their agenda is about one thing: making the federal government so weak that they can exploit it for their personal gain. They're stealing your data to help their companies. They're taking away your health care and food assistance to fund tax cuts for billionaires. Their agenda is pro-disinformation, pro-obstruction, pro-greed, and pro-exploitation. If you didn't know, that's what Doge actually spells out. D, disinformation. O, obstruction. G, greed. And E, exploitation. And congressional Republicans have been complicit in this agenda. They've helped this administration terrorize the public. They've allowed this administration to launch the country into a war without congressional approval. And while we're talking about saving money, let me tell you, just dropping those few bombs in one day, that was the beginning of what is going to be a very long bill for us as they talk about being efficient. There was nothing efficient about doing it. And maybe if there was some consultation, maybe with those that say have constitutional authority, since we care about the Constitution, then maybe we could have saved the American people not only money, but the lives that are now at risk as we have to put out warnings for American citizens in this country and abroad. Maybe we need to start leading with the people at the middle of what it is that is guiding us instead of following one person. The reason that people like me say things like y'all are in a cult is because somehow People are abdicating their duties and abdicating the very people that put them into office. But I got 30 seconds. They've allowed this administration to steal congressionally approved money for cancer research and food delivery to vulnerable communities. They've allowed Elon Musk to infiltrate your medical records and banking data. They've allowed this administration to ignore court rulings, and now Republicans are here patting themselves on the back, literally arguing to make this chaos permanent. So Americans are going to continue to live through chaos and destruction that has been occurring ever since he swore in January. And I hope y'all remember who caused this, because it wasn't
The
just
gentlelady's time has
it was
expired.
Also the Congressional Republicans.
The gentlelady's time has.
The strategy on display here is a powerful 1-2 punch of rhetoric and repetition. The first part of the strategy is the rapid-fire, helpful or harmful questioning. Notice, the goal isn't to get new information from the witness. The witness's one-word answers, harmful, 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 act as a drumbeat, creating a rhythmic and damning indictment of a specific set of policies. This is a technique designed not for the committee room, but for a viral video clip. It simplifies complex issues like healthcare policy and federal budgets into a simple, moral binary that is easy for any viewer to grasp instantly. The second part of the strategy is to frame these individual policies not as random decisions, but as part of a coordinated plan. The speaker explicitly references the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, suggesting that these actions are not organic responses to national problems, but rather the execution of a pre-written playbook. This elevates the criticism from a simple policy disagreement to an accusation of members of Congress abdicating their duty to instead follow an outside ideological agenda. To make this agenda memorable, she even creates an acronym, DOGE, standing for disinformation, obstruction, greed, and exploitation. This is a classic messaging tactic to crystallize a complex argument into a single, negative, and easily repeatable word. The core themes being driven home are clear. First, that there is profound hypocrisy in claiming to seek efficiency while actively causing chaos. And second, that these actions consistently benefit the wealthiest while actively harming working-class families, veterans, and the sick. This isn't just about political squabbling in a hearing room. It's about the fundamental priorities of government and how they affect real lives. When a speaker talks about cutting the budget for the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, that isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It translates to less funding for research into cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases that affect millions of families. When cuts to the EPA are mentioned, it means fewer resources for ensuring the air we breathe and the water we drink are safe. The argument being presented is that these cuts are not made out of fiscal necessity, but to finance a different priority, permanent tax breaks for billionaires. Think of the national budget like a household budget. The accusation here is that the government is choosing to cancel its health insurance and food budget in order to afford a new luxury car for the wealthiest person in the neighborhood. This debate forces us to ask what the real cost of efficiency is, and who is ultimately forced to pay the price. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this? First, political language is a tool. A committee on efficiency can be used to justify policies that critics argue are deeply inefficient and destructive to government services. Second, the debate over the budget is a debate over values. The choice to cut funding for food assistance while also cutting taxes for corporations reveals a clear set of priorities about who the government should serve. Finally, this highlights the significant influence of outside ideological groups on elected officials, raising questions about whether representatives are serving their constituents or a prepackaged agenda. This brings us to a fundamental question. What is the true purpose of government? Is it to operate like a lean business, cutting costs at every turn? Or is it to provide a robust safety net and services for its citizens, even if that's more expensive? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this analysis helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.